Hi, this is the How Would You Handle This Situation for Chapter 5. In this particular situation, you have a manager who is in the process of interviewing people for a job and says that he's interviewed hundreds of people before and really says that he doesn't need your help in preparing for the interview. However, when you actually sit through the interview process, you see that he really doesn't have the skills necessary to be an effective interviewer. As we've talked about in this chapter, this is a very, very important aspect. You're going to be investing a lot of time and a lot of money in the person you eventually hire, so you really want to make sure that it is the right person. In this particular situation, there are also some legal implications as well. If Johnathan or other managers don't interview people properly, there could be a lawsuit, there could be possible discrimination issues as well that you would need to deal with. So the first thing that you could possibly do in this situation is make sure that a selection model is developed for Johnathan and the other managers to use in their interviewing process. And you can strongly suggest that this be used. The other thing you can do is possibly implement a company-wide training program, which we'll talk more about in Chapter 8. But you could develop a training program specifically focused in how to interview people and what questions you can ask and what questions you can't ask, so you know that everybody, including Johnathan, is well versed in the art of interviewing. Again, it's very important to interview, to have a selection model, to have the interview questions developed before you even start interviewing people, and making sure that the interview is structured so you can ensure that everybody receives a fair interview and there aren't any legal implications that occur as a result of someone not interviewing correctly. Probably what I would do in this situation is talk to Johnathan and tell him what you noticed in the interview that was not appropriate, and recommend that he possibly re-interview the candidate. In the meantime, develop that company-wide training on how to interview people and continue your work on developing selection models for all of the positions that you need to hire for. And this is how I would handle that situation.